Be confident, be bold, be authentic, but don't forget to take action. This is Ordinary to Badass, where our stories empower women to step into the spotlight of their own lives and pursue what they're truly passionate about. It's time to step into the arena and become more than just extraordinary. It's time to become a badass with your host, Marie Sonneman.
Welcome to Ordinary to Badass, episode number 26. In this episode, I will be talking to Erin Machan, who is the owner of Project Bike Love. Project Bike Love is a nonprofit organization who empowers women and children, and they take bikes to communities where women and children really need them and where they make a huge impact. Erin is trying to create global connection and awareness. In this episode, Erin and I talk about how Project Bike Love changed her life, don't accept no as a final answer, and picking your 5 people. Stay tuned because I know that you're going to love this episode. Welcome to Ordinary to Badass. Whether you're ordinary or badass, I'm glad you're here. We're all striving to be confident, bold, and authentic so we can live a life that we're passionate about. Today's guest is Erin Machan. Erin, thank you so much for being here. Excited to have you on the show.
Thank you. I'm excited to be here.
So first off, before we go any further, I have got to ask, do you consider yourself to be ordinary or badass?
Whew, I consider myself to fluctuate between the two often.
Can you talk about that a little bit?
I'd say, people ask me that, maybe in different ways, but it's like, I don't necessarily feel badass.
Right.
Like I feel ordinary. I feel just like everybody else. But there's definitely like areas of my life where I like try, where like I want to be badass because it's something that I didn't necessarily have or like look for, or it wasn't like a goal growing up kind of a thing. It wasn't like a way that I, envisioned myself. And as I got older, I wanted that a little bit more. So I think that there's definitely more intentional parts of my life now that's like, yeah, like I want to do something badass,
Right.
So,
right.
But like, I'm at the same time, like feel very ordinary, just like, everybody else. And like, I do the same things everybody else does.
Right. Do you think that other people perceive you as being badass?
I would say probably more so than I am, maybe. People be like,
that's
"Oh my
how it
God,
always
you're
is.
so badass," and I'm like, I don't think so, because it's so crazy the way no matter what you do, someone's always doing something crazier or bigger or better or more, and it's like, but I think like we all have different parts of us that are like badass, and there's like our own level of badass. And if you're not comparing yourself to other people, then that's like, then obviously like you can be that way in whatever you want.
Yes. And it can be such a easy trap to fall into, especially with social media, and you can just see what everybody's up to. It's easy to fall into that trap.
Exactly. I fall into that trap a lot.
Yeah. Yes. It's easy to do. And for me anyway, that's where like my self-talk are like, okay, get out of your head, stop thinking about this, get away from social media.
Yeah, absolutely.
So Erin, can you go ahead and tell us a little bit about you?
Yeah. A little bit about me. I'm 35 years old. I live in Colorado, just in the Denver area. I just moved to Colorado in August for a job with Fox Racing. So I worked for Fox. Before working for Fox, I worked for Specialized. I've been in the bike industry for almost 7 years now. It's my total passion, like mountain biking specifically. So I've always wanted to live in Colorado. I'm super excited that I had the opportunity to take this job and move out here. And it's just worked out so perfect. And before I got into bikes, I was really into riding horses. So that's what I grew up doing. That's what I did my whole life. I was born in California in Santa Barbara, but wasn't there very long. I then moved to Switzerland for a few years and then ended up in Auburn, Alabama. So I was going to say I grew up in Auburn, Alabama because I spent, most of my childhood there, and like my childhood girlfriends are there and my mom's still there. And so I love it there. And then I moved to California, back to California in high school, where I really started riding horses. And I spent 20 years there until I moved here. So
in
it was
California?
a big change. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
California, Alabama, Colorado, was there somewhere else in there? Or
I lived in Switzerland when I was really little for a couple of years.
okay.
Yeah.
So what has been your favorite so far?
That's tough. I mean, it's really tough because Alabama is like home, that's like the South. It's like going home. I love it. That's where I get a lot of who I am from, like my personality, my sort of values, and, all of that stems from there. California was an amazing experience. I mean, I was there for 20 years and like I had so much of my life happen there, and it's a beautiful state and it's got a lot of opportunity. And when I moved to California, I wasn't intending to stay very long. But my dad was there and my dad was getting a lot older. And then like, in my 20s, he wasn't like doing that well. And so I like realized like I really couldn't leave him. And he passed away a few years ago. And so it just kind of gave me the opportunity to kind of pursue getting out of there. I mean, I love California, but it's super expensive.
Yes.
I don't utilize the ocean the way that people who live there utilize the ocean. And it's like, I just feel like I never really took it. It was so hard to like get to the mountains and like travel because traffic was so bad. And I just don't ever think I like used California to its full potential for as much as it costs to live there.
Right.
And there isn't anything like wrong with it. I love that place. There's so much to explore there. I still want to explore there, but I really wanted to move and live someplace else and kind of, start something different.
And sometimes there's just different seasons of life like that, Alabama was good for one season and then California, kind of when you're doing something different.
Yeah.
So you mentioned that you're working with Fox Racing. Like, what is it that you do? And I'm not quite familiar with Fox Racing. Sorry.
Okay. So that's fine. So Fox is a apparel company. Well, and they make motorcycle, like MX clothing and protection, as well as mountain bike clothing and protection.
Oh, cool.
They're based in Irvine, California. So my role is specifically the market developer for Colorado. And then I moved here, it was just Colorado, but I recently got New Mexico as well. And so what I do is essentially I sell our product to and work with retailers in the area, as well as like grassroots initiatives and things like that. Like, just really trying to like grow the business and, get Fox like integrated into this market. So that's essentially what I do.
Right. So you also do Project Bike Love, is that right?
Correct.
Can you talk about that?
My other full-time job is Project Bike Love, and Project Bike Love is a nonprofit that we donate bikes to impoverished women and children around the world. Started in 2015 as just a little idea I had, and then now it's an amazing organization. I work with a lot of really great women and men as well, but we have an all women's board. We just recently went to Paraguay to deliver bikes. Paraguay's been like a big focus point for us, but we've also been to Bolivia. We do work at the Navajo Indian Reservation in Indian Wells, Arizona. We've done work in California. And we still have like projects I'm working on right now to grow and get more bikes to more women and children. And, it's totally evolving and grows, but we've delivered like over 300 bikes now. And
that's so cool.
Yeah, it's so amazing. It's such a great organization. The real focus is to empower women and children and create global connection and awareness. And it's just such an amazing project to just like being involved in it. So I love doing that.
What do the bikes allow the women in other countries to do?
So,
well, I mean, in the United States too, but
yeah, so it's different. And I feel like every delivery is different because it gives It gives different opportunities to different people depending on what they're looking for. And sometimes it's just like the pure joy of riding bikes, you know? In Paraguay, it really helps economically. Like, it gives them transportation that allows them to sell more products, go further, raise more money earn more money for their families, as well as like give them more time back in their lives. Same with the children who get bikes to go to school. It allows, the children in these families it's not at all like it is here. These children are working, they're helping their families. They're actually like, a part of the, like bringing in, money and, chores and all of that kind of stuff at a really young age. So like allowing them to get to school faster and safer gives them more time back to their families and allows them just like the ability to do a lot more. And some of the kids can go to school who otherwise wouldn't because it's too far. So it, whether it's education, time, money, it just gives them a lot. And then there's really, one of the projects that's so close to my heart is the one here in, at the Navajo Indian Reservation, because there was a woman there who started a Girl Scout troop, which was intended to just like help give these women an opportunity that they didn't have. And in Indian reservations, just like around the entire country, like suicide, teen pregnancy, drug use, all of that is just, it's massive. Like the rates are just insane. And the woman who started this project really wanted to give these women or these young girls an opportunity so they didn't fall into that same pattern, so they didn't become like a statistic. And it's by giving them bikes, we gave them something else to do and a passion and something they became really excited about. And it was so impactful for them that like it started to really change, their motivation. And, families were reporting back that like they weren't watching cartoons anymore on Saturday mornings. They wanted to go out and ride. And then the moms, were trying to keep up with the girls because like they were wanting to go outside and ride. So then we ended up doing another delivery. It was almost like an emergency delivery.
Oh,
like
goodness.
We didn't even really do a big fundraiser. Like we were like, we need to get the moms bikes right now. So like we went and we got bikes for the moms so the women and the children could ride together. And it was just amazing when my partner and co-founder, Belen, when she went back out there to ride with them and deliver the bikes to the moms, one of the dads came up and shared with her that he couldn't believe like what she had done for his family and how like not only was the daughter impacted, but the mom too, and him as well. So, when we go to these deliveries, like we really see the impact firsthand, like how moved they are by the fact that they got the bike, how women, they say to us, like, they never in a million years thought that this would ever happen to them. It's like such a big deal. And for us, it's like, we're here and we have all these like fancy bikes and fun bikes. And it's all this just like, it's a hobby and our passion, but for them, it changes their life. And it's like a gift that they never would have gotten if it wasn't for us. And, but like, we don't even see the impact that goes well beyond that, what happens later when they have more time, when their families start spending more time together, when, they start making more money, when, when it really, it goes so far. And that's really, that part's really, really exciting.
Yeah. I think, that'd be very rewarding. And you might not even hear it all the time, like those heartwarming stories. But then like when you do, it just kind of probably reinforces why you're doing what you're doing.
Exactly. It really does. That stuff, it reminds us, because this stuff, it's doing nonprofit work is not like easy at all in any way. It's really fulfilling and it's wonderful. And, I wouldn't change it for the world, but when you hear those stories, it like makes every hard moment like worth it, and every struggle worth it. And then it just motivates us to just keep working harder and harder because we know that we have to. Like, it's almost like we put ourselves on the hook now.
Right.
So it's like, we can't stop because like when we hear that somebody needs bikes or we hear the impact, it's like, if we stopped now, then we would like be actually like depriving this change that we've created. So it's like, now we're committed and on the hook for it.
Yeah. And it's kind of cool. Like, I'm sure, especially as the more time goes on, but you've already done it 3 years, but the chain reaction that occurs, just one thing and how it helps one person, but yet it ends up helping multiple people in the family. I think That's cool. The big effects. Yeah.
Yeah. That part's really cool to us.
So let's talk a little bit about your wins. Can you share with us what you're most proud of? If I could talk today, what you're most proud of accomplishing?
Gosh, I mean, I don't know, there's so many like wins, and there's also a lot of like not wins.
Yeah.
You know how life goes.
Yep.
I mean, I think there's, on a personal level, like finishing my education was like a huge win for me, because I started off like really rocky, like not knowing what I was going to do. So like being able to graduate college and then go on to get a master's, like I never thought I was somebody that was going to have like a graduate degree, and like whether or not it's something that I necessarily would do over again, or, think it like does a lot for me in my career. It's definitely something I'm really proud of and consider a win, because it was something that like, I didn't think that I'd actually follow through. And so that was really cool to like get those diplomas and like hit that finish line. I think it really helped me learn how to like set goals and like follow through. And so, so then when it came to like racing bikes, right? Like a big win in that would be, just like completing races, like doing Leadville, doing Breck Epic, like finishing a 24-hour race, like things like that were just, those were like big wins for me, just because of the commitment and like follow through and then finish line. It's like,
yeah,
when I was a kid, I didn't do those things. I quit like everything I did, cause I was like, oh, I hate this. This is too hard, or I don't like this, or I don't like the people, or whatever. Like I let a lot of things, hold me back. And so now like these wins are really important for me. And I think that it all set me up for Project Bike Love, which I would say hands down the biggest win in my entire life is Project Bike Love, because that was like, I was not like, and it's funny because my co-founder and my partner, like, loved the woman to death. She grew up wanting to be a humanitarian since she was like, 2 years old. Like she was going to work for Doctors Without Borders. She was going to help people. Like that's like in her blood, And for me, it wasn't necessarily in that way, So when I didn't even decide I wanted to start a nonprofit. It just happened. I just wanted a project, and I was just creating like a really cool, like community project. And the fact that it turned into something that it is now on a global level is like insane to me. Like, it's not even something that I ever imagined doing. I just followed I just kind of followed the universe and like how it set me up. And that's what happened. And, for me, it's like the biggest win. Like when I sit in front of a delivery and like watch everything happen, it's just, when we were just in Paraguay over Thanksgiving, the school, all the children from the school and the teachers and everybody were like assembling in this like big auditorium area, and people were moving bikes in and out. And I just like went up in the bleachers and I just sat down and just like looked at it all. And I was like, I have no idea how this happened. Like it was the most, like I could cry right now thinking about it. Cause it was just like, I don't know how this all happened, And so that's just like, that's a huge win for me. And career wise, like just being able to work for a company like Specialized and being able to work for a company like Fox when I didn't even start riding bikes until I was like 28, Yeah. So like for me, that's huge. Like I've really been able to go after things I really want, in my adult life. And it's like, that's been a big win.
So I think a lot of times we have this idea that we're supposed to know from the time we're born, or we're supposed to know from a young age, but it just often, at least for me, that has not been true at all. I kind of believe like what you did. You just kind of have to take the next best step or whatever you're interested in next, and they'll all come together eventually, but you just don't always know what that is ahead of time.
Yeah, exactly.
So with starting your business, what is something most people don't know about what it took to accomplish that?
Oh my gosh. I'll say, the one thing I always like to remind people of when they start something is like the rejection. I don't think people understand how much rejection you get, how many people tell you no, how many people are not interested, how many, like, I remember even a good friend, like someone who I considered a friend or is a friend of mine to this day. But I remember when I told him about that I was going to start a nonprofit, his response to me was, oh, everybody's starting nonprofits these days, you know, like
Yeah.
people are like, people's feedback can be so discouraging. And I always like, it took a lot to like not let that outside like influence and impact like what I was doing.
Yeah.
Because I am somebody who is like, someone says no and I'm done. Like a no is a no. And like, it's funny because like in sales, people always say like, you know, like no's don't mean anything. It's like, get 3 no's, you know, before you give up and like do all this stuff for no's. But like, I hate that. I'm like, oh, did you just say no? Okay. I'm going to get out of your way. You know, like, I'm sorry to bug you, you know?
Right.
And then I just like give up. But with Project Bike Love, like I had a lot of really good mentors at the time that kind of coached me through that. And like, I didn't let somebody telling me no, or that they weren't interested, stop me. And it was like, and for me, I mean, I guess going back to the win, that was like the hugest win is like, personally, I allowed myself to push through that and continuously get no's until I got the right yes. And that is what's so amazing now, 3 years later, is that like, I'm like, no's are just like talking to people and sharing ideas and getting a no is awesome. It's like, it puts your ideas out to the universe. It gives you practice, and then it sets you up until you get the yes. Yep. So now it's like, no's don't mean to anything to me. It's just like, it's still an opportunity to share what I'm up to. It's still an opportunity to like practice talking about, you know, what project or what it is or what proposal I'm putting out there. And with Project Bike Love, it was a lot of rejection in the beginning. It was a huge struggle to get people to believe in what we believed in.
Right.
And I think that's like what, you know, like what a lot of people don't see when they start projects or they want to start a business, is they think like a setback or like people saying no, or like one way of doing it didn't work, that they give up. And I know that because I was that person.
Me too.
You know, like I have definitely tried so many things that I just quit the first time. Yep. And Project Bike Love was really like a practice for me to see what it would be like if I pushed past that rejection, if I allowed people to say no and I still stayed motivated and like did it. And it ended up being better than I could have ever planned myself, you know, like, so
where do you think that switch came from? Like what made you or allowed you to switch and start accepting no's?
I think it was just really intentional. Again, I had a really good mentor at the time who would like help me with that. So I knew I got, I would say coaching, like I got a little bit of coaching from that. And I was just, I think one of the things that really helped with Project Bike Love is that it wasn't really about me. It was something that was like giving back, and it was something that was for others. And for some reason, when you're doing something for the betterment of others, it's easier to stay motivated.
Yeah. It takes the focus off yourself.
Because you see, and now it's like, it's not about me. It's about the girls and the kids and the people who are impacted by Project Bike Love. So when I'm feeling rejected, or when I'm feeling embarrassed, or when I'm feeling tired, or I'm feeling like, oh, what am I, you know, none of that matters, because I'm not I'm working for them, you know? And I think that helped. That really helped me change my perspective, because it wasn't about me, you know, like I had to put like my insecurities aside to like make the bigger project happen.
Right. No, I can totally relate to what you're saying. And I used to be the same exact way too, just with insecurities, or I'd quit right away. And just think, oh, a no's a no, or I wasn't good enough, or I was stupid, or whatever it might be. But sometimes maybe your passion is more than your excuses, you know? So let's pivot a little bit and talk about your struggles.
Okay.
Tell us about a time when you gave up, but now you wish you wouldn't have.
So it's always hard to say like, now I wish I wouldn't have, because it's like, I definitely, if I could do it different, I would do things different. But for the most part, like, I feel like things sort of led me to where they are. So it's like, if I wouldn't have done that, would I be where I am now? Probably not, you know? And, but I would say the biggest thing that I ever gave up on was, I had gone to, as I said, I rode horses, and that was like my dream. Like I was going to go to the Olympics. I wanted to train horses. Like that was like my life. I woke up every morning. I went and rode my horse. Like I even like did like a homeschool program during high school so I could ride horses during the week, you know? So I wasn't even at school. Like it was that much of my life. And so in 2000, like in 2004, I decided like I was going to like put my resume together and I was going to go back to Auburn, Alabama, and I was going to get on their equestrian team. They're like the number one equestrian team in the country, you know? And I never thought like that I was somebody who could, you know, be at that level. And I sent in my videos and all this stuff, and I got accepted. So I moved to Auburn and I was on the equestrian team. And this was like my lifelong dream, like since I was a little kid. And I showed up and I just let my insecurities just take over. Like I was on this, all of a sudden I was riding with like a bunch of women who were really good. And, you know, there were just like things that would happen and I would take so personally and I quit. I just like quit the equestrian team and I never even gave it a chance. Like I literally went to the first like 2 or 3 meetings and I started doubting myself because in the first, like I never thought I deserved to be there in the first place. So then when I got there, I let that dictate, you know, everything they said was confirmation that I wasn't good enough to be there. It's like they'd be talking to 50 people, but it was like they were talking to me, you know,
the spotlight
telling
was
me,
on you.
Yeah, exactly. Like I was just so just like, I don't know, like worried that I wasn't supposed to be there. So I basically created that I wasn't good enough to be there. And so I quit. And that was just hard because I basically gave up on that dream right then and there. Like I decided like I wasn't good enough. I quit, you know, I wasn't going to go to the Olympics. Like I wasn't, you know, like it was just so much that I gave up in that moment. And I never really got motivated to ever try it differently or go back or anything like that. And so that was huge for me. Like that was a huge letdown, personally, that I had done that. And so it definitely has helped me now to like not do that and to not be that kind of person who feels like they don't deserve something and therefore creates that they don't deserve it, you know?
Yeah.
And I think I did that.
Do you know what you say to yourself now when those type of feelings or thoughts creep up, or how you handle it now?
Well, you know, thing is, I've done a lot of work in this area. So I've, you know, created a lot of ways to get through that. And some of it's just straight ignoring it and knowing, and I know that this is, this kind of sounds like crazy stuff, but it's like disassociating like what your thoughts are from like who you are. And there's a part of me that like, that knows that the things that I think and the thoughts that I have are not always real. They're created by something that has happened in my past. And it's like this inner voice that's like doubting myself, but like it has no real relevance and like to what is actually going on. And just because, you know, I feel like I don't deserve something, I know that comes from some other issue and really isn't real. Like, you know, like when I was like 20 years old when I 21 years old or something, when I went to Auburn to go, and everything I think and thought was like real, you know, everything I think and thought was real. And now, you know, at 35 years old, it's like, I like listen to what I'm thinking and I acknowledge that it's there, but I don't give it as much weight.
Right.
Like I don't give it the credibility it used to have.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, thanks for sharing, brain.
Yeah.
You know, like, I'm glad you're, you know, giving me all of this like wonderful doubt right now, but like, I'm going to keep doing what I'm doing. And I have to use that daily in my life. Like when I walk into a bike shop and like, I don't know who I'm going to talk to and I don't know if they want to talk to me. And like, you know, 10 years ago, I would not have been able to do this job because like, I would never walk in the door and not know what I'm going to say and not know who I'm going to talk to and know that they're probably going to tell me no. But like, even now in my job, I get rejection daily, but like, it doesn't do anything to me the way that it used to because I feel it. I know it's there. It's still like, I still have the same feeling, but I don't react the same.
Yeah.
You know, it doesn't stop me from doing what I want to do.
So do you think Project Bike Glove has helped you in your job or kind of vice versa?
I think Project Bike Love has helped me in my job for sure. It helps
Right.
me. I think it's helped me like in everything.
Right.
Like
and then
been
with rejection too, probably.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's helped me a lot with the rejection thing, which is so crazy. Like, and it's not, and I'm not gonna like, I don't want anyone to think that like rejection doesn't bother me, because I'm still just
Yes.
as if like I still feel it the way I used to feel it. I
Uh-huh.
just don't react the same way. And I think that's like, you know, I think that's what some people that I talk to don't necessarily get about me is I'm not, people think I'm fearless, which is like insane.
Right.
Like I am so freaking scared of everything, you know,
Uh-huh.
like I have anxiety, like everything I've ever felt, like I still have. But the only thing that's different about me now that I've like learned over the last, few years of my life is like my reaction to that fear is different. And that's it.
Yes.
That's the only thing that
And
is
it's like,
different.
maybe you're not giving those thoughts credibility. Like we always assume they're true, or, well, we thought it, well, it's got to be true, you know?
Exactly.
Rather than questioning it or just being like, okay, I'm not going to listen to you today, you know?
Exactly.
So
I think that's a huge part.
Yeah, absolutely. Can you share with us a story about one of the hardships you have faced to get to where you are?
My goodness. When it comes to like my career in the cycling industry, like I would say one of the things was like starting over, you know, because I really wanted to be in this industry. I'm really passionate about it. I get it, you know, like I get riders and it's just like something I'm just so into. And so, but like, I didn't have any experience, you know, and when that happens, it's like, it's a lot of scary stuff. Like you got to change your career, you got to start over. And so like I called, someone I knew who owned a bike shop I think I messaged them on Facebook, you know, hey, I was wondering if you guys are like hiring, I really like a job, and I had to start working at like minimum wage again,
Right.
to get the experience that I needed. And like, that was really hard to start over, and I double majored in my undergrad. I had a master's in sports and exercise psychology. I then started working at a bike shop for minimum wage, like I definitely had to do something different to like create my life the way I wanted it to be. And so many people, I feel like, get really stuck because of like the salary that they need, or, just like that fear of like having to start over. And like, I'm not going to lie, it was hard. It was definitely hard, but it's like 100, like now today, it was so worth it. Like I will never forget that day that I reached out and asked for that job, because it completely changed my life. And I had to educate myself. And that is something that's, hard for me, is like, I want something that like, I don't necessarily have that experience that everybody else in the industry has. A lot of the people I work with, most of the people I work with, they've been riding bikes since they were little. They've been working in bike shops since they were in high school. Like they just know it. And like, here I am at 28 deciding that I'm going to start riding bikes. And then at 30, I'm like trying to get, into the industry. And it's like, I had to go through a lot of like starting over. That was really hard. And the same thing goes for Project Bike Love. Like I had to just like wing it hard.
Yeah.
Like really wing it. And there's a lot of struggling in that to get to where I am now.
And you had to build it from nothing.
All of it, my career, Project Bike Love, riding bikes, like all of it. Like I built it from literally nothing.
So when you started, you'd sent that message on Facebook looking for a job. Do you think you had the kind of the long-term vision, thinking it was something you wanted to do forever? Or was it just something like, you're like, this is what I'm passionate about right now, or I need to take this hit to move forward? What were you thinking?
I think it was something that I was really passionate, like that I knew that I wanted to do long term, and I knew I needed to start somewhere. And I'm not, that's the one thing, like I definitely learned that later in life. Like that's not something that's just like innate, like to me, like,
Right,
oh, I'll
right.
just go start at the bottom again and work my way up.
Right.
You know, like I had to like really stay focused on the long-term goal. And it was so, I can't even tell you how like rad it is to see like where I am now versus like where I started. And that all came from just like taking that risk and like
Mm-hmm.
having a lot of faith and like working really hard and educating myself. Like even when I worked at Specialized, like, yeah, I worked my, you know, normal job, but then in the off hours, like I was watching YouTube videos and reading things and just trying to like understand bikes and suspension and mountain bikes and geometries and like all those things to like be better at my job, because I didn't have the advantage
Mm-hmm.
that other people had, whereas they just grew up with it. You know, I was riding
Yeah.
horses. I was not riding bikes, you know?
Right. So what would you say to the woman who's, you know, thinking about switching jobs to do something else that she's more passionate about, but she'd have to take a pay cut to do it?
You know, again, everybody's different. And I just, you know, it's hard to give advice not really knowing where other people are at in their life.
Mm-hmm.
But I think it's what's really important to understand is like, if you're passionate about it, like if it's what you want to do, like it'll work, like it'll work out. Like it just will. Like the one thing that I've realized is like the universe is in your favor when you are also there, you know,
Right.
like when you're in line with it and you're actually like following your heart and you're doing the work, people, you know, things tend to work out. And if they don't, like, that's okay too.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
and I think we take like, oh, well, I tried to do this and this didn't work out or whatever. Then we're like, oh, okay, then that wasn't where I'm supposed to be. But it's like having a little bit of like having a goal, but then being open to what it leads you to, I think is like the biggest thing. It's like, yes, okay, you want to do this. Set that goal, take action towards it, but like also be open to all the other opportunities it brings you. And
Mm-hmm.
I think that that's like, I think like just kind of being open to that helped me a lot, because I'm not exactly where I thought I would be in any way.
Right.
It's way better than I thought. That's the best part. Like, and that's because like I wasn't like super controlling about how it went.
Mm-hmm.
I just took little action to get me there, just like little steps.
Yeah.
You know, and it's funny because I was always worried about that too. Like, you know, oh, like not like I'm going to have to take my career change. I don't know if I'm going to make as much money. I don't know if this is going to be, you know, a factor. Like I was definitely worried about those things, but it all worked out in a way that is better than I could have imagined. And I was afraid to do it. I definitely had like a lot of fear going into changing, you know, my career, but I was surprised all the time by like what was available to me.
Mm-hmm. And that was
You
just
know?
kind of something you learned as you got older and as you kind of started paying attention to the universe or different things that interested you or popped up.
Yeah. I mean, it's kind of crazy. This is like, there's this book called The Surrender Experiment
Mm-hmm.
by Michael Singer. I don't know if you've heard of it, but it's
I have.
so freaking good. And I think I just kind of took that on in my life. Like after I read it, it was like a commitment I had to really just surrender. Like, and that means like, yeah, be in action, keep doing what you're doing, but also like be open to the opportunities and just like say yes. And I think that's like a big thing that I took on in my life, is saying yes to the universe and like saying yes to those opportunities and not living in this like fear, you know, like, oh, I can't do that because all of these reasons. It was like, oh, okay, like I'm being presented this opportunity. I'm going to take it and see what happens, even though I'm freaking scared as hell, you know?
Right.
And so I think that that's like, if women out there who are thinking about like changing their career and they're worried about money and this and that, it's like, well, start sending resumes, start talking to people, get a mentor, like do the little steps. Like you don't need to quit your job and like, you know, just like you go do it all, but like start taking the little steps to show that that's what you want. And like the rest will start happening. What I see a lot of is my friends and like, you know, women I know that they want to change, they want to do something different, but they know that there's like, they just like have this preconditioned like thinking that like they're not going to make as much money and they're not going to be able to survive. And like, I'm like, okay, well, how many like people did you talk to? Oh, none. Cool. Like, so So you're basically not doing anything, you know? And it's like, just take the little steps. Like, you don't need to quit your job and just like start something new, but like start having conversations about it and seeing what's open. Start talking to people, start telling everybody you meet that you're interested in a career change. And I promise you something's going to show up,
Yeah.
you know?
And kind of like the cliche saying, like, what you focus on grows. But if all you focus on is the troubles you're going to have or how you're not going to get there, you're not going to progress or get any further. Yeah,
exactly.
Absolutely.
You're not going to get there. And I think that's a big part of it. Like, that's why, like, I just say, you know, you just got to create what you want, and you have to do that by talking to people. You can't just like sit at home complaining about your job thinking like it'll just change one day. Yeah, maybe that happens to some people sometimes, but that is not the normal. Like, you have to actually like be in action and like put it out there. And like even when I got this job, like, it was my dream to move to Colorado. If it wasn't so obvious to the world that I loved Colorado, the person who called me about the job never would have called me, right? He knew when they needed somebody out here, he thought of me because he knew how much I loved to be out here and how much I loved mountain biking in my job. And I created that, you know, by being so open about it. So it was like an easy connection for him. Right. You know, so it's like, if you want a certain change in your life, like, be open about it. Tell everybody about it, you know, and then like when the right opportunity presents itself, it'll be there.
And that's what I was just going to say. It opens up opportunities. If people don't know you want something, they're not going to offer it to you because they just don't know that you're even interested in that.
Yeah, exactly.
So let's talk a little bit about your mindset. Can you tell me about your mindset and how it has led to your badassery?
Oh, I think like, I guess at some point there was a big change in me where I decided that, and I think it has a lot to do with that saying yes to the universe thing. It's in the same context, but it's more like I had always lived everything based on like fear. What I did do, what I didn't do, it was all like fear based. And there was a lot of it that was, you know, it was just like, it kept me away from things that I wanted to do, whether it was career, whether it was with riding, whether it was with money, travel, relationships. Like, my entire life was like that. And I think at one point I just really started to just say, like, if it scared me, that was even more reason to do it.
Nice.
And that's like what I think, and this is what, like, if somebody, was so weird to call myself a badass, like, I don't know why I can't do that, but like, when other people do, I think that's probably the thing they see, because it's like, yeah, that's so scary. And then I'm like, okay, I'm going to do it. Like, and I remember it because it was like, I was literally like, it was like 5 years ago when I decided I was going to do like my first 12-hour race. Like, and it was scary. And like, on paper, like, I probably wasn't ready, or like, I wasn't that kind of person, or I didn't fit that mold or whatever. And, I just did it, you know? And same with Project Bike Love, like, with all the things that like stopped me in the beginning, like, and like I was afraid of, whether it was afraid of the rejection or afraid of like failing. Like, what if I fail? Like, what if I say I'm going to raise this money and get these bikes and I don't actually raise the money, you know? Like, those historically would always be reasons for me to not do something, because if I don't do it, then I won't fail at it, you know? And now I think like that I've been playing this game of like, if it scares me, I do it. It just like has like next level. Like, now I'm just at this point where like I am just pushing limits constantly, like trying to see like what I can't do. So I'm like constantly trying to like reach this like threshold. Like, last year I did Breck Epic, which was like this 6-day stage race. And it was like, you know, it's like over 200 miles and like 45,000 feet of climbing and like all this, like, it's just like this crazy race.
Holy
that,
smokes.
Like,
yeah.
I never in a million years thought I would ever be able to do. And like, I finished it. And I like, it wasn't like I won. It wasn't like I did very good.
Right.
Like, but like, I finished it. And that's something that like I
It's
didn't
huge.
ever think I would ever be able to do. Like, I remember being at that race years ago and being like, nah, I'm not cut out for this. Like, I don't have what it takes. And like, to be able to like finish something like that, it just makes me go, wow, I did this. Now what can I do?
Right.
And I think like, that's like the thing. It's like, once you start playing that game in life, like, what can't I do? It's so, I don't know. It just opens up so many opportunities.
Yeah, totally. And I know when I did my marathon, kind of same thing. I was always like, I'm never running. I'm not doing a marathon. And then like
Yeah.
once I finished my first one, I'm like, same thing. Like, oh, what can I do now? Or if I do that and I'm not a runner, what else can I do? You know?
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And it's just fun, you know, I have a lot of fun with it. Like, it's like
Yeah.
a game I play. And it's like, you know, whenever I find that limit, like once I find that limit, like that's a learning opportunity. Like
Mm-hmm.
I can like understand, like, okay, like I remember after I did Breck Epic, I can't sit still very long. That's the thing. So like the next day I took a rest day, I watched movies all day. And then like the next day I went on a hike, and like, then, you know, like the next weekend I was going to go climb something out in Rocky Mountain National Park at like 12,000 feet. I'm like walking up to the base of this climb, and I'm starting to hyperventilate, and like, I'm not feeling good. And like, I realized at that moment, like I wasn't taking care of myself. Like I didn't rest. I hadn't been eating and recovering the way I needed to. Like,
Mm-hmm.
and so like, I was like, okay, this is a limit. Like, this is good to know. Like, yeah,
Right.
I was like saying, like, the fear that I had about not doing this was real. I need to make sure that if I'm doing something like that, that I am mentally and physically prepared for it, you know, like, and so like having that kind of ego check is like great. Like I get to like see my limits. And so instead of that being like a failure, it's like a learning opportunity. And again, like it's like a game I play.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. And then for me too, that has come with age. Like when I was younger, I probably wouldn't have listened, and I would still push on, like if it was something I wanted to do. But then
Yeah.
like now it's like, okay, I'm not going to hurt myself. I'm not going to do whatever. If I'm tired, sometimes you could just take a break,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah. Yeah. And I think,
So,
and for me, sometimes like, I feel like I do sometimes a little bit like we'll push it. And what's great is like, as the more I do, the more I get to understand and know my body. And it's like, my body will be like, nope,
mm-hmm. Yep.
you're not going any further. And then I'm like, okay.
Like now I
Got
have
it.
to listen.
Yeah, exactly. Like, okay, sorry.
Yeah. So do you have any tips or tricks to help us improve our mindset?
You know, honestly, like if there's things that you like want to change, like anybody out there that like just like wants to change, is like, just do the work. Like do the work, like get the book, read it, like do a seminar, get a life coach, like whatever, like invest in that change, you know. Go find a meditation group. Like I went to a meditation group for like over a year, and it changed my life. Like it was just so great to have like 1 hour once a week that I spent with a bunch of really rad people.
Mm-hmm.
And we like read and like meditated, and it was like, you know, and we shared, and like just things like that. It's like, just invest in your, you know, health and like happiness. And like,
Yes.
the thing is if any, you know, when I struggle to understand why I'm doing what I'm doing, or not reaching the goals I want, or like, I know that like I am the person who got me there. So I'm probably not the person who's going to like get me out of there. Like if I'm stuck in a certain way of
Mm-hmm.
acting or being, like I am not the person who's going to unstick me. Like I need to go out there and find more information and add more to my toolbox, whether it's a therapist, whether it's a friend that I really look up to, a book that I need to read, you know, like a book that I've been recommended. Like I just constantly invest in that part of my life.
Yeah.
I do not let, like, that comes first. And I think for a lot of people, like, that's like, oh, I don't have time because I have work, I have kids, I have this, I have that. And it's like, for me, it's like, no, like I need to first take care of myself and make sure that like I have the tools I need, the, you know, the health, like the mental health I need, like all of that stuff has to be in line. And then I can kick ass at my work. I can like be a good friend. I can be a good girlfriend. I can be a good daughter, like all of those things.
Mm-hmm.
But like, if I'm not doing the stuff to take care of my mindset, then like the other stuff, I might as well, you know, then I'm only giving half of myself to that.
Yeah.
So I just put that stuff first.
And I think sometimes we think, okay, if we're badass, we have to do it all, take it on ourselves. And I don't think that's the case. It's stronger to ask for help when you need the help.
Yes.
You know?
And that, you know, I had a huge lesson in that. Another one that like the universe just put on me because like I'm historically, like I do not ask for help. That is not my thing. I do it myself. I help other people as much as I can. You know, I'll literally go around the world helping people, but like you are not going to have me knocking on your door asking for help, you know?
Right.
And then my life just had like so many crazy changes, like within a year, within the last few years, like all this stuff happened. Like my dad had died. I ended up moving to a place like that, a brand new place with brand new people where I didn't know anybody, and starting a new job. And then like my boyfriend at the time had left, and then like my dog died, and then one of my best friends died, and it was like all this crazy shit. And I was like, oh my God, like I can't do this alone. And so I actually had, reached out, and I really had to like reach out for help and like ask, and like more than that, I had to like let people help me, like people who were reaching out to me, like I had to let them in and let them help me. And I practiced that. And like, now I feel like it's not like I'm great at it, but like now I understand that like, that is what we're supposed to do with each other. Like help and be helped. Yeah. Yep. Like there's nothing heroic about me going around and helping everybody and then not allowing anyone to help. Yes. And I think that was like that was a huge learning thing for me, because I didn't realize how much you have to have one and the other.
Yep. And I think it's a disservice to other people too, to not let them help.
Exactly.
It always feels good when you help somebody else too,
Yeah, I know. So you're giving that person the opportunity to be helpful the same way I want people to let me be helpful. So it's like, why am I going to demand other people let me help them, but not actually allow others to help me? So that's something that I literally have just been working on, like within the last year, and getting to the point where I allow that.
Yep. I can relate to that. Same with me, just in the last couple of years. And sometimes it takes like a major life incident to occur, and then it puts things in perspective for you.
Yeah.
So could you share one tip that you wish every female knew about?
I think it just kind of goes back to that passion, subject. Like if there is something that you are passionate about, like it is worth it to go after it. Like there is room for it. Mm-hmm. Like I remember, it's like when the guy told me, oh, everyone's starting to start a nonprofit. And like back when I was in college and I was like thinking about being a marriage and family therapist, I remember everybody was telling me, oh, the market's so saturated, and like we get all these like this feedback, like, oh, there's not like that there's not enough room for our passions. Mm-hmm. And it's just like 100% BS. Mm-hmm. Like there is not, if you are passionate about it, there's 100%, that there's room for it on this planet. Like you like, just because someone has the same idea as you, do it. It's like when people say like, oh, don't share that idea because you don't want someone else to take it. Like, no, share your idea, put it out there. I hope you and 5 of your friends start giving back to women and giving them bikes or whatever, mm-hmm. Like I hope people start different kinds of Project Bike Loves all over, like if there's like whatever it is, whether, you want to start a nonprofit, or you want to design clothes, or you want to be a banker, or you want to be a lawyer. Like, one of my best friends, like she decided she was going to be a nurse in like her mid 40s, like, and went to school and did it. Like, that's awesome. Like you can make it happen, like it's not too late, whether, if you want to have kids or you want to get married or you don't, or whatever. Like, I just think that like there's room for it, and you cannot let other people's opinions and like outside feedback affect that. One thing that I read in one of Brene Brown's books that I like will never forget, that I love, is that it's like, put the people, like your committee, like on a tiny inch by inch square piece of paper, right? And write down everybody who like you, like their feedback matters to you. And like, it should not be more than that can fit on that piece of paper. So it's like, whatever, like 5 people, and let only those 5 people's opinions matter. And that has helped me huge. And like, if women would do that, pick your 5 people and literally only let what they say matter. And then let the rest just be noise. Because so often do I let some random person who says something to me affect what I do. And I'm like, what? I don't even know that person.
Yes.
Why am I not going to do what I'm doing because this random person just told me it was a stupid idea, So I think like having those like 5 people and only letting what they say matter, helps us a lot to like really navigate like what we want to do without letting us, all the outside noise affect us.
Yes. That's what I was gonna say. Just to shut out all that outside noise. How do you get inspired and stay motivated?
Oh my gosh. So many things. Definitely the women in Project Bike Love. Like the women I work with, they're so inspiring. Like they really help me to work harder, be a better person. I stay inspired and motivated also by just really like staying connected to what it is that I'm passionate about. So whether it's, just taking that time for self-care, like really helps me, whether it's journaling or seeing a therapist or talking to a really good friend or reading a really good book, it helps me stay motivated,
Mm-hmm.
and it inspires me. Like really good books inspire me. Like that's a huge thing for me. Whether it's
Yes.
like, Brene Brown or Mark Manson or, Michael Singer or whatever, like sometimes I'll reread them or listen to them on tape or like listen to a podcast, like, or have like a coach. And I don't mean like a paid coach, but like somebody, like a mentor, like whether like it's finding a really awesome female mentor. Like, I think that really helps,
Yeah. And I love when you read a good book or any book for that matter, and then you read it again later and it means something totally different to you.
Totally.
Because it
You
just
can
depends where
find
you are.
Yeah, you hear different things, like
Yep.
other things like stick out to you.
Yeah. So let's talk a little bit about badass advice, and this will be more of rapid fire.
Okay.
So what was your turning point for accomplishing your goals and becoming a badass?
My turning point would probably be, starting Project Bike Love. Like it was definitely like I'd gone through a bad breakup. I'd moved back with my dad, and there was definitely like okay, life's changing now.
Right. So do you have a morning or an evening routine that you can share with us?
So generally my morning and evening routines are just like, I'll get up, breakfast, coffee, emails, evening routines kind of, just like, it just varies. My job is like so all over the place. So it varies, but I do like to do things that like, I always check my calendar and like go over what I need to do for the day in the morning on my cup of coffee. Like I write it all down. And I think that's really important. So like I have a checklist for every day, and it doesn't mean that the checklist needs to be done every day, but making a checklist daily is huge for me.
When do you create the checklist?
So I create it daily.
Okay.
Every day, like in the morning, while I'm like getting ready, I write down everything that I need to do for the day, in a planner. And I have a planner, and I think like a planner that I write in, and I've done that since I was a little girl, and it helps keep everything. I write everything down. I can see when I have different appointments and things like that. I think that is huge for me. It's just like, it's part of my routine to be able to do that.
Right. And the act of writing things down, I still like that as opposed to computer.
Yeah. And I even do both, you know?
Yeah.
So,
can you list one thing that you've learned from a woman in your life?
oh my gosh, one thing? There's so many amazing women in my life I've learned so much from, but, I guess like I'm going to use my mom, but I remember like one of the biggest things that she taught me, that she used to say to me that made no sense at the time, but that now that I really get, is like when I'm someone who has trouble making decisions.
Mm-hmm.
And so like, I won't make decisions. And I remember my mom used to tell me, just make a decision and don't worry about if it's right or it's wrong. Just make a decision, like have a choice, like have a voice, have a decision. Don't be the decisive one or indecisive one. And I'm not perfect at it by any means. I still get very indecisive, and because it's like, just like something about me, like I don't like to make decisions, like I don't want to make a choice because I don't want it to be wrong. And I think like that stays with me. Like her telling me like, like Erin, you need to just make a decision and not worry about if it's the right or the wrong one. Right. Just so and for me, like that really meant and translated into like having a voice, having an opinion, and not making it about like too scared to do the wrong or right thing. And so like that was really powerful, and I still hold that one.
Yeah, I like that. The more you ignore your voice, the harder it is to find it again,
Exactly. Yeah.
Can you share a habit or a practice that has contributed to your success?
Oh my gosh. Definitely journaling, I would say, helps me a lot to put all my thoughts down on paper. I think that has been a really big thing for me. And then what I just said, the scheduling.
Right. How
like
often do you journal? Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
I used to, like, it goes on and off. Like I would try to journal like every single day. But I don't do that as much anymore. I try, like, I go in kind of waves, like fluctuate, you know, and like, oh gosh, like when life gets really crazy, it's funny. Cause like when life gets really crazy, I probably should journal every day, but actually what happens when life gets really crazy is I don't. And then I'm like, okay, life's really crazy. I better journal a lot. And I have to get back in the habit of it, you know?
Yeah.
So, I mean, that is definitely something that has contributed to like, I would say, like, my success, just my happiness and my health, you know?
Yeah. So what do you wish everyone knew about confidence and overcoming obstacles?
You know, this is going to be a little far-fetched, but it's just the way that I think about things, is that not giving things so much significance. And people probably think I'm crazy because, you know, but I think sometimes we just take life too serious. We take our choices too serious. We take failure too serious. We take success too serious. And like, we don't think we have like, you know, a second chance or things like that. And so we don't like have confidence to do things because of all the things that we fear. And I think it's like, you know, it's like looking at things more like a game, playing with life, like understanding that we only get one little life, you know, and we're 1 in 7 billion people, and we're not that significant, you know?
Yeah.
we're all special and wonderful, but like, we're not that significant in the whole world, you know? And so like knowing that, like understanding that smallness about myself really helps give me confidence, because like when I get too worked up and high strung and I get too serious and I get too stressed, like that's how I get the confidence, is by remembering that, by focusing on the fact that like, this is like my life I get to play with. Like, yeah, like you could definitely do things that are impactful and hurtful. Like, don't do that, you know, but like when it comes to having the confidence to like chase your goals or like do things you want to do and like, chase your dreams, like go for it. Like you go for it because you really don't have anything to lose. You have like everything to lose by not doing it.
Yep.
You know,
I love that. It's all about perspective too.
Yeah.
You know? How often do you read, and can you share or recommend a book and share why?
Oh my gosh. Well, I'm always reading a book, sometimes more books than I should be at the same time, which is so funny because my dad used to do that and I thought he was crazy, and I'm the same way now. I'm like, oh, we'd be reading this book and start a new one. And absolutely anything by Brene Brown. Daring Greatly was like an amazing, amazing book. And then also like career wise, the Born to Lead. Is it called Dare to Lead? Dare to Lead by Brene Brown.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Oh my God. That changed my life when it came to career. Like it changed my life when I walked in a boardroom. It changed my life when I gave feedback. It changed my life. Like I created relationships and transformed relationships within my work environment in a way that I didn't even think was possible. And nobody else did anything. Like I changed and it changed everything, you know, and that's the coolest thing about change, is that like, we always think other people need to change to like make things happen. But like, really, I can change and create a whole new situation. And that is so awesome. Like that book I gave everybody on my team that book.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. I was like, dude, we all need this, you know, it's so great. And then the Michael Singer books, The Untethered Soul and The Surrender Experiment. And what's so funny is like, they're totally opposite. And that's what I love about like Brene Brown is like a PhD. She's like a psychologist, blah, 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 you know, or sociologist. And then like Michael Singer's like this like hippie Buddhist, you know, guy who like started this, you know, multi-billion-dollar company, you know? So, and then he writes about how he got there, and it's a little more like hippy dippy kind of thing, you know, and that's why I like the whole spectrum, you know, like I like things that are super like hippie and like new age. And then, you know, I like the stuff that's like very like statistic driven and, you know, because I feel like, you know, you get like all of it and it works better. Yeah. To have all those perspectives, you know, like you don't want to be like too hippie and dippy, and you don't want to be like too by the book. So,
but there's also not a cookie cutter way. Like everybody can do their own thing, their own way. And
Yes.
it's boring to have everything like exactly the same.
Exactly. That's why I say read everything, because it's like, I love all the different perspectives. Like,
Yes.
I never ever think that there's one way to do things. And I also never think like you can change the way you do something.
Mhm.
That's fine. Like,
Yeah, and
like find a new way of doing it and try that.
Yeah. And you learn things that you don't even know or realize are possible until you read it and see it,
Exactly.
So let's end with a tip to empower women who are in the arena fighting for the life that they want. And then if you'll share how the audience can connect with you.
Yeah. I mean, I guess like my advice is stay in the arena. And that's like a great, and I got that, same quote from Brene Brown. And I don't think it's her quote, but it's a quote she quoted.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, if you're not in the arena, then I don't want your feedback. And I think that for us as women, as humans, it's like, if you're not doing the work and in the arena fighting for what you want, then like, do not give me your feedback or don't listen to it. Either way, like, it's like, I'm not interested unless you're playing this game with me. Mm-hmm. And so that's what I do in my life. And that's my advice. Connect with people who are up to what you're up to. And I'm sorry, but I don't care if you're 20 or you're 45. If your group of people is not up to it, you're going to find new people.
Yes.
Like,
or find people that you want to be like, if you're not doing something, but you want to get into something, find those people.
Exactly. That's another thing, just quickly, one of the best advice I ever got was like, find women who have what you want and connect with them. And that's another thing I do. I use women that have what I want as mentors. And through my life, as what I've wanted changes, those mentors change.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because it's like, that helps me because I want the advice from them because they have what I want. It's like, and again, like, and I would hope that people only came to me who wanted my advice. Like, I probably am not the best mentor for every woman on the planet. It's really about connecting to the people that drive you and motivate you and have what you want, because you're more likely to listen to them.
Yep.
It's like, if we're constantly giving and getting feedback from somebody who we don't even respect. Like, we look at what they're doing in their life and we're like, why are they doing that? But yet they're the only person we talk to about our problems. Like, you're not going to get anywhere, you have to go to people who inspire you, because those are the people who you're going to actually listen to when they tell you to do something.
Yep. And they can help you on the path to get there. They've walked through it themselves.
Exactly.
So how can we connect with you?
So you can always email me. That's super easy at Erin@projectbikelove.org. I'm on Instagram at outdoor_bougie. That's my Instagram name. Or you could go to Project Bike Love at Project Bike Love. And then I'm on Facebook as Erin Machan. So yeah, I'm super easy to connect to. So
I love that. So thank you so much, Erin. You've been a total badass and I've enjoyed hearing your story.
Thank you. It's so great to be on your show.
With that, we'll end our show. And to all the badass women out there staying in the arena, wherever you are, whatever you're doing, own it and get after it. Thank you for listening to this episode of the show. Now I've got to tell you, I have a new manifesto out that I really think that you'll love. It's called At the Core of Being a Badass. I'm trying to redefine how we think of badassery. Many people think a badass is like Rambo or Katniss Everdeen, when in reality, it's more like Mother Teresa or Buddha. In order to check out At the Core of Being a Badass, go to www.ordinarytobadass.com and enter your email address and I'll get it right to you. After you read it, let me know what you thought. Just email me, ordinarytobadass@gmail.com. Talk to you soon, friend.
Now that you've listened to this episode of Ordinary to Badass, we want to hear from you. Go to our website, ordinarytobadass.com/podcast, and submit your own experience on how you took your life from ordinary to badass and get the chance to be on a future Spotlight episode of the show. That's ordinarytobadass.com/podcast. While you're waiting for the next episode of the show, wipe off the sweat, dust off the dirt, and get back in the arena.